Hi everyone, my name's Garth Lidbetter. I'm the Implementation Project Manager here at Matter Design and Digital, and we're really excited to have you guys along and be sharing with you today. It's a great opportunity to be sharing at this Ecommerce 360 Summit put on by B2B E-commerce, and so yeah, we're really excited to share, and we appreciate that you've put the time aside to look into this and hear from us as we share. We're going to be sharing some thoughts around big picture ideas and then break it down into a couple of practical applications that you can use. I'd like to introduce you to Nigel Poole here. He's the founder and managing director here at Matter Design and Digital. And it's a real pleasure to be able to spend some time with him and even for me to hear some of his thoughts. So I just wanted to get started with a couple of questions, getting to know you. When did you start Matter? And yeah, what did that journey look like for you?
So thanks Garth, and good to be here. Glad you could all join us. I started Matter back in 2003. So quite a while back. I think we were supporting browser compliance for Netscape Navigator back then. So the internet's obviously come a long way.
Yep.
But we as an agency have also come a long way, and we've really evolved with the changing technologies that have happened. And we're now very much an e-commerce focused agency, specialised in BigCommerce.
And so how did that journey come about, getting onto BigCommerce and using that?
Well, we partnered with BigCommerce from 2018. We went through a bit of a due diligence process to work out just what platform we did want to partner with, and we found that BigCommerce really offered the most scope in terms of B2C and B2B. It was a SaaS platform. We wanted to get our clients onto SaaS, take out a lot of their risk and give them a lot more of a scalable solution. So we started that partnership, and we're really 100% BigCommerce now. And we decided to just specialize in BigCommerce and really focus on that as a technology.
And I've been in here for a little while, but I've seen a few great projects in my time, but even from before. Do you have a few favourite projects that you've worked on?
Yeah, a few stand out, and they're really the projects that have really pushed us and made us take that next step. I think the first one I'd say is institchu.com. It's a menswear brand that is still around. It was a startup at the time. We helped them launch. One of the early projects we did with BigCommerce was Firewire surfboards, and that again was a real innovative project. It was a new headless technology that they launched, and a brand very close to my heart, being Surfer as well. Then recently we launched Witness Shoes, quite a large omni-channel retailer, and now we're working with Pillow Talk and TradeLink on some quite complex projects, and we're really excited about them, and we're really excited what's going to come through the door next.
They're all really exciting brands to work with, and great people as well. Just finally, what do you hope people get out of this session of ours today?
Yeah, well, I think today we're talking about how we can introduce concepts of personalisation and concepts that we work with from a B2C point of view into B2B. So what we want to talk about today is how can we create the right mindset for a B2B project? How can we think about the business customer? And how can we create a service for them through the digital format?
Great. Well, I'm going to lay a bit of a platform, and then I'll hand over to Nigel again a little bit later, but let's get stuck into it. The e-commerce world is changing, and don't we all love change? Well, it may have already changed. E-commerce has, and so it's possibly even why you're here. In this time of change, it's a chance for your business, though, to adapt and thrive, and we're really excited about that. And so what are these changes? We've identified two of them. Firstly, it's the increased sales volumes over the last few years globally and in Australia, and also changes in user activity and expectations. Firstly, the changes in increased sales volumes. Globally, e-commerce retail sales revenue have almost tripled in the last 5 years, and projections into the future are continuing in that same vein. Similarly, in Australia, we've seen steady growth, and again expecting to see continued growth into the future. At this particular point in time, we've seen quite a varied result in e-commerce, At one end of the scale, you've got travel, accessories and automotive taking a hit through this pandemic period. But on the other end of the scale, you've got household goods, toys, games, health and wellness, amongst others, all seeing over a 50% spike in the last few months. In Practicology's Global Online Customer Report, it shows that 59% of people have purchased a product or service online in the last 30 days. So our conclusion from some of this, as a quick overview, is that Aussies are more and more comfortable in purchasing online. Aussies are simply comfortable in purchasing online, and in a lot of cases, Aussies prefer purchasing online. So doesn't that sound great for everyone? Stoked. Well, not for everyone. You may question that this has all been very B2C focused and that we can't deliver the same depth of knowledge through a website that we can in person. We don't want to upset our sales reps because they do a great job already. Or our business is completely different as it's B2B and we still need to do things the old way. That's all true that all businesses are different, but what if we could achieve the best of both worlds, taking on the lessons learned from global B2C e-commerce? This is focusing in more on B2B, or specifically on B2B, and in 2019, 13% of all B2B purchases were made online. And that number is growing. This is pre-pandemic projections expect that online will make up 17% of all B2B purchases. So given the changes caused by COVID-19 in 2020, we would expect this number to increase even further. And this isn't a significant number. So that's the first area of change, seeing that sales volumes globally and in Australia have been growing. The second is through user activity and expectations. In a recent report on the future consumer by social research company McCrindle, we can see that by 2030, which is less than 10 years away, 70% of the workforce will be made up of Generation Y, Generation Z, and Generation Alpha. These generations have all been born since 1980 and therefore are digital natives. They're comfortable on online and digital devices. Those in their prime working and spending years will be those most familiar with digital services and shopping online, while Generation X and definitely boomers will be well and truly phasing out of the workforce. So what do we know about these younger generations? Well, a bunch of things. 73% of Generation Z would make a purchase based on a social media recommendation. Generation Y will actively research businesses online to understand them more, with 37% of them saying that they have stopped or lessened a business relationship because of the company's ethical behaviour. Personalisation is no longer desired, it's expected. And not only that, but for future generations, predictive services are now expected. Attention spans are on the decline, so if you're not engaging, you're dismissed and often forgotten. So, for those B2B businesses who do not consider their online presence seriously, you're on the verge of being overtaken and forgotten. Well, that's become very serious, and there's been a mixture of B2C and B2B content in laying the platform, but we do see the lessons from B2C that we can take into B2B. While B2B purchasing journey can often be more complex and sophisticated, the common thread is that the purchasing is still done by a person. Ultimately, businesses don't buy from your business, people buy from your business. And by understanding people more, we can engage and guide them more effectively. Great, so that was a very quick flyby of where we see e-commerce and some of the changes that we're in the middle of that have happened and we're continuing to see with the sales volume and then the expectations of users. And so I just sort of bring Nigel back in and have a quick chat about the differences that he sees in B2B and B2C online and comparing with each other and lessons learned.
So what we've seen is a lot of focus and innovation in the B2C area, with B2B lagging behind that. So We're doing a lot more B2B just in the last 12 months, and businesses are really taking a lot more seriously how they engage their business customers through the digital platform.
And so what are some of those lessons that those B2B customers have been taking from B2C?
I think it's pretty simple. It's putting the customer first. And in B2C, we're always thinking about who is the customer, how are they different to the other customers, how can we create segmentation and personalization for those individuals, and how can we create more of that one-to-one type selling experience. And I think with what we see with B2B is it's much more, let's deliver something for everyone. And I think the opportunity there is that we can take the B2C learnings of personalization, customer segmentation, and really trying to individualize the experience and apply that in a B2B sense.
And so it sounds like that service of the client. I guess I'm very familiar with what service looks like, good or bad service in an interpersonal way, whether you go into a store or a sales rep coming out and you're very aware of what good service is in that respect and not so good service at other times. But through a website, how do you see that playing out and delivering service that in something that you don't have that interpersonal relationship?
Well, that's where we start. We start with what is the interpersonal relationship that happens? What does that look like? And what can we do from a digital point of view to give the customer a similar experience? Not always the same, but take the learnings from that normal interpersonal relationship that we can develop into an online solution. So to give you an example, if you go and buy a surfboard at a surf shop, the first thing the sales rep will say is, well, what volume board do you ride? So what size do you ride? And you might know or you might not know. So the sales rep will assist you to work out what volume you should ride, and then he'll make recommendations on which board you should use. So when we were developing Firewire, we wanted to replicate that exact process in a digital sense so that the customer could self-serve through that experience and really find the boards that are going to be best suited to them. And so they're the sort of things that we try and do when we talk with our customer, our clients, understand how that process works to engage a customer, give them the information they need, and take them through that sales process.
Yeah, great. So it sounds like there's a number of tools that we can use to offset sales reps or work alongside sales reps or a phone call with the company to smoothen over and speed up that process. And so I know there's a number of other things you want to work through today, so I'll hand over to you. Yeah,
so I think what we might look at is firstly, what is the typical B2B approach that we see? B2B tends to be about, from a digital sense, is how can we build on our internal operations and create that into the digital channel. And so it tends to be quite a sort of back-end operations, technical mindset. How can we then channel that out? And so it tends to be, we've got an ERP, we've got a CRM, how can we create a web portal? And so it tends to be that we add on e-commerce without much thought at this point about the end customer and what that customer experience needs to be. And the thinking is that we can then allow all of our customers to then shop online with our company. But it's too simplistic, really. We need to be offering a better service. We need to be offering value to the customer. And if we don't do that, they just won't adopt the system that we build. So our approach is more to think about who are those end customers, how are they different, and how can we service them best. So our approach is to look at the customer, look at what types of customer you have, how can we segment them, what's unique about them, and how can we create strategies and solutions that really help them get value from the system. And so those things might be that they want really easy purchasing on demand at any time, day or night. That's a great thing that e-commerce does. It might be that they want much more timely, personalized communications. That's something that we can do with email marketing systems. And then it might be that they want much more relevant recommendations. So some of our clients will have a very diverse product catalog, but their customers might be only interested in a single category or subcategory. And so what we want to do is make sure that we're giving them recommendations that are relevant to them, not giving them the recommendations that everyone else is getting. So to do that, we need some tools in the system that we deliver. And that consists of typically an e-commerce platform, a marketing communications platform, and a personalization engine. And so by putting that together, we're working from the customer back and then interfacing into the internal systems to make sure we get those efficiencies. And I really think that the opportunity for B2B is really highlighted well here. So what this chart from Accenture shows is that the adoption of what we would call best practice B2C customer service is far outweighed in B2C compared to B2B. And that really presents an opportunity for B2B businesses to do that better. So what we encourage our clients to do is look at how can we deliver a really great B2B service that fits well with the personal service that the sales reps will give, and how can we make sure that the online system really augments that process. So what we're really trying to do is create a competitive advantage through a superior digital strategy. For some of our clients, they're in segments where their competitors are not doing digital well, and to really just execute a digital strategy that is to the standard that buyers expect from their B2C interactions really creates a competitive advantage for them. So I think the 3 points to achieve that would be to think of the buyer making the decision as a person, to segment your customers and develop strategies that are unique to them, and to build a service, not a website. So really think about what does this system provide as a service, where's the value for the customer, and how can we create more sales and better engagement through that technology. So one of our favorite clients here at Matter is a company called Shop for Shops. They're a shop for shops. They sell to retailers, and they sell all the products that you might need to run a physical retail store. And so we caught up with Luke from Shop for Shops yesterday, had a bit of a chat with him on this topic to get his insights from a B2B retailer's point of view about how digital has really assisted his company.
Yeah, so Nigel, good to talk to you. And as the name suggests, Shop for Shops is a shop for shops. So we're Australia's largest provider of shop fitting, shelving and display solutions for all kinds of retailers, from your very small retailers through to your largest chains in the country. We've got a very broad and diverse customer base, which is exciting, which is good. And we're also all over Australia. We've got physical stores in Melbourne, Sydney and Perth, some fantastic independent distributors, and then we also distribute our stuff all over the country and a little bit internationally as well. I see our website as an extension of our stores and an extension of the ability for our customers to be serviced by our staff either on the phone or via email. So what I mean by that is we are a catalogue business first and foremost. We have a very large SKU base for what we do, which has traditionally been in hard copy catalogue. Our website enables our customers to view our catalogue, if you like, electronically, no matter where they are, which is a really good thing to be able to get that into real places, more eyes seeing what we do. But certainly when we're also talking to customers on the phone with the new website and the way the improvements been made, it's much easier to talk to our customers and walk them through the features and functions of some of our products. So from that point of view, there's some really good services in addition to being a fully fledged e-commerce store that people can go and buy things. For me, the website isn't always being more than just a place to shop. It's really a place to introduce us to the marketplace and really explain who we are, what we do, and also provide our customers with help, because that's what we're in the business of doing. We only exist to help our customers sell stuff, and they've really got to come to us in whichever format suits them best, in store or increasingly online, and our new website makes that much better. We were kind of living in the dark ages where our website was not integrated to our operating system here, and it was requiring duplication of data entry. There were errors, there were delays in getting orders to customers. So the ability to increase that has increased the efficiency, but also the accuracy of the customer's orders and the customer's information, and that's been really good. There's less mistakes, there's less things getting sent to the wrong place, there's less errors with orders, and it just makes for a much better experience, and also enables our staff to get through more orders, which has been great because web orders have been increasing in their volume. The advice I'd give is do your research and really work with people that take a significant and serious interest in what you're trying to do. B2B is different to B2C. At the end of the day, there's a lot of very common things we want to make sure we're doing. So great service, great products at a great price. But the B2B market does involve selling things that are not a luxurious pair of shoes or are not a want. They're more a need or even the investment piece for the business owner or the business purchaser to then generate money for them. So you've got to really understand that difference. Unfortunately, people aren't running out buying coat hangers, mannequins and racks because it's a fun thing to do, although they are great. They're really buying to make sure their business improves, and you've got to make sure you understand that, and you've got to make sure the people you work with understand that as well. And I think that's really important. And I think also making sure you understand you are selling to people in business, buying for business reasons is a very important step to make, and because it is very different from selling straight to the end consumer.
Yeah, sure. Well, Luke, thanks for sharing a bit of time. We're going to share a link with everyone to shopforshops.com.au so that they can see for themselves what your website experience is all about. But yeah, really appreciate your insights and sharing that with the audience today.
Thanks for your time, Nigel.
Cheers, Luke. Thanks, mate.
So thanks, Luke. Yeah, thanks for your time and your contribution there. I think you've articulated really well how a business-to-business company needs to think about their customers, how you really need to think about creating value, giving them the ability to make money off the interaction and purchases with you, and how you can provide a better service with digital. So thanks for your insights there. That was really interesting. I think if I was to just build off that and say, well, what should B2B companies think about when putting together a project like this? I'd say start with your requirements. What are the user journeys you need to deliver, and how can you create value through them? I'd say crystallize the project vision through that, which might be through the sort of early engagement with an agency, but really understand what you want as the vision for the project. Where do you see your business at the end of it, and don't be afraid to think big about that. There's real opportunity to really push your business a long way forward in the digital sense if you do it well. I'd say select partners that you can see yourself working with long term. We tend to work with our clients for over 3 years as a minimum, and that relationship is really important to see a project through and see that vision realized. And then I'd say pick the right tools for the job, design the experience for the customer, and make sure you're executing that vision. Come back to what is that vision you're trying to achieve and make sure you're delivering on that.
So that concludes our presentation. We thank you so much for joining us. Just as a reminder, we're Nigel and Garth from Matter Design and Digital. And if you want to check out some of these brands that we've worked on and pick up ideas and learnings from their website, we think we've done a great job, but we also think in partnership with those brands, they've done a fantastic job in how they present as B2B brands to other businesses. And so some of these brands that you could check out is Shop for Shops, the example that we heard from Luke, also TradeLink, Pillow Talk, and finally Brown Forman. These are some of the great businesses that we've worked with, and as I said, you could go through their websites, pick up some of the features that they may be interacting with their clients with in a really personalised way. So thanks again from me, and hand over to Nigel to sign off.
Yeah, and I'd just say, we'd love to hear from you. If you've got any questions about this webinar, we'd love to have a chat. We'd love to learn about what you're thinking of doing with your company, and really see if we can assist you on that process.